Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are jumping into one of the most powerful and, let's be honest, misunderstood human experiences lust. We're going to be drawing from a really fascinating text to unpack what this whole thing is all about. So, let's start with the big question, the one the source material kicks off with right away. What is this state of desire really? It's something that can feel pretty confusing, right? And boom, the text just gets right to the heart of why it's so confusing. Is what we're experiencing an emotional feeling, or is it just this raw biological urge? That's the core tension, and it's what makes this whole thing so tricky to navigate. Okay, so how does this feeling grow? The text actually describes a really clear progression. It shows how what might start as a little spark can build and build until it becomes this all-consuming force with a very clear goal in mind. You can almost see the momentum gathering in stages, can't you? It starts out as this personal, internal confusion. Then it sort of fuses with someone or something and starts aiming to fulfill a need. And from there, its intensity just keeps growing and growing. It wants more. What's really interesting is how the source describes lust as being both internal and external. So it starts inside us, but then it adapts to the world around us, actively looking for a receiver to fulfill its purpose. It's this wild mix of cause and effect that can somehow still pull us in a bunch of different directions all at once. All right, this is where it gets really, really complex. The source dives deep into the dualities of lust. And the big takeaway is it is never just one thing. It is absolutely packed with contradictions. Think about it. On one hand, it can be the fuel for our darkest narratives. Stories of obsession and destruction. But on the flip side, it can be the foundation of a really playful, friendly, or even a deeply loving story. For centuries, it's often been labeled a sin, right? But the source presents this totally counterintuitive idea. What if lust is actually a powerful force for creativity? What if that spontaneous energy is what leads to art, to creation, or even to starting a whole new chapter in your life? And this is just such a crucial point. This one feeling can lead to serious division and conflict, like a power struggle between people. And yet, in other moments, it can be this experience of profound personal freedom, a total liberation. It holds both of those possibilities inside of it. Now, to really capture this whole duality thing, the text gives us this really powerful central metaphor that just perfectly sums it up. It's not inherently good or bad, it's a tool. And just like any tool, its impact depends entirely on how it's used, right? You can use it to cut through barriers, to forge new powerful connections. But it can just as easily be used to cut off relationships, to sever ties, which makes it both incredibly useful and, incredibly dangerous. So ultimately, the picture we get is of this mysterious, imaginative force. It's a powerful driver that can inspire us to perform, to act, to start a completely new chapter in our lives. It really holds a key to understanding why we do the things we do. Okay, so given this complex, contradictory power, how are we supposed to live with it? The source doesn't suggest we try to destroy it. Nope. Instead, it offers this deeply personal and mindful strategy for actually managing this force. So what's the secret to handling it? Well, the goal isn't to suppress the feeling or pretend it's not there. The idea is to create a bit of distance. You acknowledge it's there, you stay with it, but you observe it separately so it doesn't get to dictate your every single move. And this is so, so crucial, because when lust acts independently, when it's running the whole show, it can be really destructive. It can cause us to act mindlessly, driven only by that urge. Instead, it needs to be integrated into our whole self, with our values, our reason, and our compassion. So, what does this path to tranquility actually look like? Well, first, you face it when it shows up. Then you separate from it and just observe, no judgment. You listen to what it's telling you in the silence. The next step is to creatively transform that raw energy, not with force, but with wisdom. And the end result? It's peace, not chaos. So in the end, we're left with a pretty powerful choice. Lust is an undeniable part of being human. The real question isn't if you'll face it, it's how you'll listen when you do. Are you going to let it control you, or are you going to use its energy to create something new?